You know, Kylo, real good boys know that they have to be good to the planet, which is why we drink Fiji water. Since 2022, Fiji water's 330 milliliter and 500 milliliter bottles have been produced in 100% recycled plastic.
That's hot.
You know what's even hotter? The aquifer Fiji water originates from is a sustainable source and will continue to replenish as the rain and water cycle persists in the islands of Fiji.
No, but really, that is hot.
It is. Visit your local retailer to pick up some Fiji water today and give yourself a Good Boy Gold Star for helping protect our planet. After all, Fiji water is Earth's finest water.
It's the worst story I've ever heard. It was not me, but and it was a straight couple. But my friend, my friend that's a woman, she went on a date, blind date, gets to the restaurant, meets this guy, greets him, and then says, I gotta go to the bathroom, I'll be back. She goes downstairs, she texts our group chat and says, this guy's so fucking ugly and short. No, I'm serious. And realizes that she's texted him by mistake.
No.
I swear to God. I'm laughing, but I actually feel sick. I think about this guy. I don't even know him.
How did
and
she
I think
recover?
about him all the time.
Good boys. Good boys. Good boys.
Welcome back to Good Boys.
Welcome to Good Boys, episode 6.
6.
It feels longer than that,
It does.
doesn't it?
Well, probably because we recorded like 5 versions of the first episode before we got it right. It's really like episode 11.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
It's okay. We won't tell everybody that.
I'm okay with being imperfect.
I need to work on that, I think.
and not getting it right on the first try.
I need to work on that.
Yeah.
But this isn't my therapy session.
I could totally therapize you.
I think you could. I actually
don't
think that
I
you
could.
could.
I'm so mentally
really?
unwell. I think I could give you sage advice.
You're a really solid, like, good friend. You like understand the whole scenario and circumstance people are in, and you give great advice.
Yeah, but I would never be able to give you concrete therapy advice though.
Yeah. So if I was like, I'm imperfect and I don't know how to be.
Well, I would tell you that you're perfect.
Oh, thank you.
I feel like you're a triple Leo. What do you mean you're not perfect?
Exactly.
No, but I think I could give you pretty good advice, but not in a therapy way.
Yeah.
Just in a friend way.
Yeah. Got it.
Do you have anything that you need advice for right now?
I was thinking about how I was a good boy this week, and I feel like I wasn't. And when I just feel in my body that I wasn't. And then when I dug into that, I think it's because I didn't exercise all week.
Oh.
I think I didn't exercise for like 8 days.
Okay.
Which obviously in the grand scheme of things isn't a long time, but I think it affects my mental health. It affects how I feel about myself, and I just feel really sluggish, you know?
Yeah. Also, moving out of a routine also throws you off your game.
Totally. And I get disappointed in myself because when I'm out of the routine, I'm like, it's so hard to keep doing it. Like, you're in the swing of it right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just finished my first month.
It's really great.
Yeah.
I saw your before and afters. Not really before and afters, but
I mean,
sort
that's
of.
pretty good progress for
It's
only like 3. It's only 3 workouts a week, so it's not even like it's every day of the week either.
You look great.
Thank you. I feel great. It's like cool to like sweat
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
I don't know, and like feel like you're like working towards someone. I met a guy in my gym.
Cute. Is this the same one you spoke about? And, like,
No, this is a different one, but he came in or he was in there when I got in there, and then I couldn't tell if it's a very minimal, like there's one bench, one rack of dumbbells, whatever, but he was over on the rope pull, whatever the hell it's called. And
like the tricep thing?
yeah.
Okay,
And I was like, oh, like, let me know if I'm in your way. And he was like, oh, no way. Like, you're totally fine. I never see you here. I was like, yeah, I'm new.
Dig.
I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm usually here later, like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, because it was like 7 or something. But he was really cool, and he lives in the building, and he was like, so what are you, a doctor?
Oh.
Because it's a nice building, because I moved into where my girlfriend owns her place.
Okay.
Not a place that I would have had on my own.
Understood.
But it's so funny that he's just like, so are you a doctor? And I'm looking at myself and I'm like, no, I'm not a doctor.
You're like, no, I'm a comedian.
Yeah, I was like, no. But he's really awesome. His wife is a Nigerian diplomat, and that's like why they like split their time. And so I made a friend.
Shit, and
it's like in his 40s or something.
Look at the caliber in your building.
Yeah, I know. And he was like complimenting my sneakers. I showed him how to shop on Nike.com. Sorry, Nike.com.
Actually, I've switched.
Yeah,
I've switched to Nike.
he said Nike.
Yeah. Oh, he did. Is he British? Oh, he's Nigerian.
Nigerian.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my little gym story.
That's cute. My only gym story is that, not to keep going on about sniffies.com,
.com.
but I was on Sniffies. Also, I'm a little bit. This is definitely a therapy thing. I need to talk about it in therapy because I'm just not really that attracted to men. I'm just not. But I just can't stop going on Sniffies.com.
Yeah.
I just look at it.
Yeah.
And like scroll around. I think
Yeah.
it's so intriguing to me. And my girlfriend's like, you are attracted to men because why are you on Sniffies.com?
Yeah.
is the challenge. But
Yeah.
anyway, the point is, I was on it, and I realized that people are doing like group activity in my gym steam room. They're like
of
meeting.
course.
Yeah, but like,
I know what gym you go to. Of course they are.
Totally, but sure. But I thought that these were like spontaneous events, you know? So sometimes I go in and I'm like, oh gosh, is something going to happen today or what? But actually, these are very coordinated
Yeah.
meetings, which I wasn't aware of.
Yeah. These are businessmen. You know, like this is on their Google Cal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
Are you gonna? Do you think you'd join one day?
I don't think I would join. There's
Okay.
also very specific signs outside the men's steam room that says like basically no sex, like you can no touching each other.
Yeah.
And apparently that's not in the female one, which again goes back to this
Oh.
point of like cruising and
Yeah. What the hell?
I know.
Because it's allowed, or because they assume that women aren't doing that?
I think because they assume women aren't doing that.
That's fucked up.
I think it's true though. You know, back to this like
Okay, but
cruising
treat us
point.
equally. I don't know.
Totally treat us equally. But I think that women would read that. Most women in that gym too. By the way, heads up, I go to Equinox. I'm sorry. But but I think
There's no
most
steam
women.
rooms in Planet Fitness.
So by the way, I was a loyal Planet Fitness user for literally 8 years in the city, and then I recently switched it. Me and Motti are
Good.
high today, I think. So I recently switched to Equinox for no good reason. I wanted the steam rooms, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't think women in Equinox are like. I think if they saw a sign outside a steam room that said "Don't touch each other," I think they'd be shocked. I think they'd be like, "Why would we?" You know.
I guess
We need to do a poll on this for sure.
we should.
I wonder if that's happening in the
Like,
in
would
the
you
women's-
cruise in your gym steam room?
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of it like logistically.
it's definitely
Yeah.
legal.
Yeah. You said something and it made me think of something. Oh, I watched gay porn for the first time
Oh my god,
this week.
what kind
Maybe
of
that's
gay
how I
porn?
was a good boy. I just typed in gay
Into what?
into Pornhub. That's where I went.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
I don't know if that's bad. I don't have OnlyFans money. I'm really
Yeah, fair
like
enough, yeah.
I love
I don't think
to support,
OnlyFans
but I
I mean,
don't.
Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you can. I checked on OnlyFans. I don't think that you can pay for porn on there anymore.
What do you mean? Like you can't subscribe to people?
There is not. Well, at least I couldn't see any like queer or trans sex workers on OnlyFans.
Oh, okay, interesting. We'll have to
So,
investigate
Yeah,
that.
I'm sure someone correct me or send stuff to us. Is that weird? I don't know.
Yeah.
Good boys.
Yeah.
Good boys.
Well, I
up
have
for
a
them,
couple
but-
friends on OnlyFans cleaning up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've been curious. So I said on the last podcast episode, I'm horny from the tea, but not in a way where like I need to be humping everything, but I am very curious and I want to be watching it all the time. Like it genuinely feels like how it must feel as a 13-year-old boy, like finding porn for the first time.
Right.
Because I'm just like watching TV and I want to watch it.
Interesting.
Like not necessarily like jerk off to it, but like I want to be watching it. I want to be looking at sex. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Again, maybe it's because I am monogamous and like if I wasn't, maybe I'd be like acting on it in a more
Maybe.
serious way. I don't really know. I'm not missing out. Like I'm fine. I'm happy.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious about it, I guess. And I've been curious about my attraction to men because like there's the stereotype of like you go on T and you're gay, but I really just think it's because like your perception, like the way men are perceiving you, it's way different to be perceived and hit on by a gay man than it is a straight man.
Agree.
And so I'm just like checking this out and I was like, like what kind of porn am I into? Like what's all this about? And I just like typed in gay and I just perused what was available and
how
I was
was
like,
it?
oh, it's pretty hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, you've made me think. I wonder if this is why I keep typing in sniffies.com.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
wonder if it's the testosterone.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm just it's like a curiosity. It turns me on for sure in a way that I don't think I previously would have been, I don't think.
Yeah.
And then I was watching I was with some comics last night and we were watching the 100-meter race and I was like, "Oh, they're making me feel really bisexual." And they turned around and they were like, "Are you not?" And I was like, "I don't know." I was like, "I might be." Which would be really going back to my roots, my 16-year-old roots of being bisexual.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
I was with a friend on the weekend who's a trans guy, and he I asked him if he was pansexual, and he said, "Oh, in spirit,
Yeah.
like spiritually I am," but he was like, "But I just love women, so not really." And I feel like that's probably me. Like I sort of want to be pansexual because I feel like most people are, and I think if we tapped into our like true selves, we could be attracted to lots of different types of people.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it's too limiting for me to be like, I only like feminine presenting people. So it's interesting. I'm on the same sort of explorational journey.
Yeah. And you know what I realized is that I really like being a top in a lesbian way, but I really think I'd be a bottom in a gay way.
But this is quite normal, right?
I think
for a trans guy.
I feel like
this is the stereotype, at least, that I hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I've heard much other than just like, okay, you're gay now. I didn't know that there was a dynamic with like trans guys being bottoms.
Do we know the psychological or hormonal like reason for trans guys becoming gay?
No, I think it's more of like a society. Listen, this is my own experience. I think it's more of like a what I was saying of this like perception thing of like when I was a woman, I was not attracted to men because I wasn't attracted to what they had to offer, how they treated me, like what that attraction was, and what like how I was being seen by them, because it was like objectification and like whatever, and also being at the time being a closeted trans dude, I'm like, okay, you see me as a woman. This is not clicking in my head because I am not a woman. Now that I'm presenting masculine and presenting as a dude, and if a gay dude sees that, not only is that affirming my gender because he sees me as a dude, it's also like, oh, you're not objectifying me the way that straight men do. And I'm sure there's some gay men who objectify like everybody does, but like I think it's this change of like, okay, you don't see me as a woman, and you also like don't have all the bad things that come with straight men. Totally. So I think it's that thing of like you're now allowed to explore this new thing while being affirmed. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know that if it could be like a chemical or hormonal thing, but I think it's more of like a societal thing.
That makes sense to me.
Social thing.
And listen, gay men are just so attractive.
Yeah.
They're just so like well groomed and gorgeous, and also I love the way that they approach me, I guess, but maybe that's because it feels really new. They feel so confident at the stuff we were talking about last week that I feel maybe not very confident in that realm, so then I see them doing that and I'm like, wow, that's really like, I can look up to that.
I got hit on by a gay bartender a couple weeks ago at a show, and it was exhilarating. I texted Britt about it immediately. I was like, this beautiful man just hit on me in and I don't know, I don't get hit on a lot these days by any gender. And so I was just like, that was really fun.
You don't get hit on a lot? I feel like you do. No. I feel like your DMs are like stacked with people. They
were once upon a time. I am so wife guy on Maine. I'm like writing poems for my girlfriend every day on Maine. Not actually, but like I think it's pretty clear that I'm, in a relationship. And I also shut off the feature where you can reply to my story if I don't. So like if I don't follow you, you can't reply to my story because I was getting inundated, not necessarily with getting hit on, but just responses. But no, I can't tell you the last time I got hit on. Truly, months.
That's because you're in a relationship. But I feel like there's lots of. I know you're in a monogamous relationship, but people might not assume that you are.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't think I've been hit on in a real way. I'm also like not really frequenting bars and clubs the way that I used to, and that's where that would probably happen. Yeah, I guess I haven't really sat with it. I have not been hit on in a long time.
Interesting. Well, I shot my shot for the first time.
Yeah.
In the past like 10 days.
Okay.
I met this woman. She was really hot, and I DM'd her, which very brave for me.
Did you get the Instagram? Were you already? You have to take me back a second.
Sorry,
you were following each other already. Did you get the handle?
No, but we met in person.
Okay.
I was introduced by a friend. I thought she was super beautiful, and then I followed her, and then she followed me back and said hey, and then I messaged her basically being like, hey. I said something generic like like, hey, we should grab a coffee or something, like, sometime.
Yeah. Okay.
She basically, her response was essentially like that she likes me, but she doesn't do the whole open thing.
Okay.
She was basically like, I'm not interested. Like, you have a girlfriend.
Just like break up with your partner.
Yeah.
And then come talk to me. Okay.
Basically, in which I was like, that's my soulmate, so maybe not.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a big step. I sent a DM. I mean, I've never slid into someone's DMs. Like, it feels so, I mean, we should talk about consent and stuff, but it feels so, it just feels too, it feels like I'm encroaching into their space without permission,
Yeah.
And it feels like just not part of my natural personality to do, and not ideal that it ended in a friend coffee, but friend coffees are nice.
Did you go?
know? No, we're gonna go.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that could be nice, and maybe she could warm up to the open.
You're
the
like,
open
it's
thing.
okay, long game.
I'm just like, I guess that's interesting. My initial reaction to that was like, why wouldn't you be okay with the open? It's kind of like an ideal situation, but I guess not if she's wanting to pursue something
Serious
or long term. So that makes sense.
And I sort of never thought about it from that. I should start thinking about it from the other person's perspective a bit, because it's like, I'm really happy in my relationship. We have great communication. We figured out a way to sort of explore openness and being with other people. And I'm sort of like, great, I'm good with it. I'm going to go out and pursue this, but I have to take into account that they might not be into it,
Yeah. Is it open in that, like, would you have a secondary partner, or is it just for like hookup? Okay,
Absolutely
gotcha.
no. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Which makes it even more probably clean cut that she's
Yeah,
like,
because you're like,
she's
I'm just looking to work.
Basically, I'm like, can we have sex? And she's like, no.
Yeah.
is the general thing.
Yeah.
So I think that makes it a little bit more complicated.
Got it. Okay.
You know.
Well, you did it. Congrats.
Thanks so much. I was proud of myself.
Did you text the server back from last week?
I forgot to text her. I feel like we should do it right now.
So for context, last week when we recorded the last podcast episode, America's Good Boys, go back and listen if you haven't, Kylo received a phone number from a server at a restaurant that he frequents, and he's not interested in going on a date, but he wants to do the kindness of at least texting the number.
Yes.
Have I covered everything?
You covered everything.
To like say like no, but like
I just feel like it was
chops for doing it.
Yeah, it was just so brave, and I would love to be able to do something like that.
It was so brave, just not brave enough for me to.
I want to make sure that they feel encouraged to continue to do that, because it felt really good, and I don't want them to be like, oh fuck, I gave that number out, and like no one got back to me ever. You know what I mean? So we're texting them now.
How do you balance with, like, do you ever use I'm in a relationship as an excuse, even though like you're open? You know what I mean?
I do, and then I get scared that like someone's gonna find that out,
and then they listen to you talk.
Yeah. Now we're saying everything in the podcast, so I think we have to be more honest. But we've talked about did we talk about this or was this like a practice pod where we talked about how we let people down, and we were saying that we weren't the best at it,
Oh, did that make it into a pod?
I think it was a practice one, and it was like we were talking about, or a failed one, and we were talking about, I said that I used to be someone that would draw out these like breakups in an insane way, because I just wasn't brave enough to be like, hey, I'm not into this anymore.
Yeah.
I went to see Real Madrid and Barcelona football game Saturday, and my friend was telling me about, anyway, he met this girl on Hinge, and she was in the UK, and she flew here to see him. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yeah, I just stay in my house for a few days, whatever. And she got here, and like after day one, he like looks her in the eye and he's like, look, exactly, this is Motti's face is shocked, and this is and he's like, look, this isn't gonna work out for me, I'm not, basically like, this isn't what I'm looking for. And I thought, damn, that's so brave and like direct, and I think what we should be aiming to do, because then it's sort of painful, but the band-aid's been ripped off, she knows what's up, and she can just move on with her life. Whereas I think old me was like, hey, you're like, really like you're really sweet, and like, and feeling bad. And so that's something that definitely I hope, now that I'm pursuing these like casual relationships, I can be really direct on.
I'm excited to see how that evolves. I in a relationship for over a year, but really bad at breaking up. But I feel like I had reason to be for sometimes, because sometimes you are direct and you're like, hey, this isn't going to work out. And the worst possible thing to happen in response to, hey, I don't think this is going to work out, is someone being like, oh, but I can I can change this or that, or like, oh, like blah, 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 blah. And then you're like, well, fuck. Like I gave you a concrete reason, and you're like fighting for this, which is,
right,
admirable in a way, not admirable in other ways. And then so I really dragged out, and I'm guilty of ghosting, and I know that's not cool, but
I think if we would very, very direct, and like set up front what it is, then I think people wouldn't fight. Well, we're just so hot, I guess. People just clawing.
I did it once. I was like, I don't like your personality.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think our personality. I'm like, sex banging.
Sure. But I don't
conversation.
think your personality is harsh. You're saying you could. That's pretty fucking direct.
I told her to her face, like, I don't enjoy like getting dinner with you.
Oh my God, that's tough. What did she say?
I think she was kind of just like, she understood we didn't have a personality match.
Got it.
But yeah.
I have to tell you, I just need to get it off my chest. The worst story I've ever heard. It was not me, but and it was a straight couple. But my friend, my friend that's a woman, she went on a date, blind date, gets to the restaurant, meets this guy, greets him, and then says, "I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be back." She goes downstairs. She texts our group chat and says, "This guy's so fucking ugly and short." No, I'm serious. And realizes that she's texted him by mistake.
No.
I swear to God. I'm laughing, but I actually feel sick. I think about this guy. I don't even know him.
How did
and
she
I think about him
recover?
all the time. So she realizes she sent it. And so she just stares at it and just doesn't leave the bathroom because she's too scared to go upstairs. So she stays in there for like 20 minutes.
This is from a TV show.
I know. And then she goes upstairs and he's left.
Good. Yeah, good on him.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my
I know.
God.
I think my friend might be listening to this, but listen, we love you. I'm not going to say who it is, but it
I
was
hope
an
he is
honest
elbow
mistake.
deep in some pussy somewhere
I
right
know.
now.
I know.
I guess not much for him.
God, I felt so like that is the harshest thing I've ever heard in my
Yeah.
life. You know.
How are you not? Anytime I say anything like if I'm texting anything naughty, as in not like sexting, but like mean,
Yeah.
I am double, triple, quadruple checking I'm texting the right person.
I know. But I think it's a combination of like couple glasses of wine in for a pre-game.
Okay.
I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
But still, gosh, yeah. I'm sure he's not listening, but if he is, you're a beautiful guy. Don't worry.
You're beautiful and size doesn't matter.
Size does not matter.
Height
Short
doesn't
kings.
matter. Yeah.
Short kings. Okay.
Okay.
Where are we at? He's in the news?
Yeah.
Boys in the news.
Mm-hmm.
This is the section of the podcast where we read out news headlines without reading the article and vote on whether they are good boys or bad boys.
Beautiful job explaining. Thank you, Kylo.
Okay, headline number 1. French pole vaulter's massive penis dashes Olympic dreams.
Yeah.
Good boy.
Good boy. I feel bad.
I do, you know.
I didn't know the
Everyone's
French got it like that. The Irish team never would have had this problem.
I mean, I don't know how he feels, right? So I don't know. Maybe he's happy. I'm sure he's getting a lot of attention.
His Instagram follow count
right.
is really skyrocketing.
I read somewhere else that he made 150 grand and I couldn't figure out what from.
OnlyFans.
I guess.
There it goes. I have mixed feelings.
Okay, go.
If it was a woman and like one of her boobs hit it and we were just slow-mo replaying her tit hitting a pole, I don't know. I'm just like, maybe he's like, this is sick. I didn't win gold, but like now I'm famous for my giant schlong. But like at the end of the day, if we're treating everybody equally, we're like zooming in and putting this thing on slow-mo and like resharing it everywhere. It kind of reminds me of like, I saw on Twitter this weekend, this stuff also like bums me out. There was this video of a woman like twerking at a club and like really shaking it, and her like dress comes up and she's not wearing underwear, and you see lip. Like in the video it's like 0.2 seconds, but people of course like screen grabbed it and they're like sharing it and they're like blah 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 blah, like, and her parts are like all over Twitter now. And I'm like, you did not have to pause that and screen share it and repost it. Obviously this is like a different thing, but I don't know. I'm like, can we have just let that moment be the moment live?
You're totally making sense.
It feels like a pornification of stuff. Obviously it's hilarious, but I don't know. At the end, this is like this dude's body, and I try to think of if it was a woman.
Totally. No, I think you make an absolute great point. I mean, people would absolutely do that to a woman. So I guess at least we're being equal from that perspective.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Yeah. I hope he's okay. I'm assuming he's okay.
Yeah, I'm assuming he's okay. But also, and I said this before we started, that we should send him some compression underwear. But also, generally, I know this isn't the point, but like, it shocks me sometimes when professional sports people don't have utility clothing.
Yeah.
You know? Because to me, I mean, what do I know? But it seemed like he didn't have any underwear on.
Yeah.
Which it can't be the
or like
be the
a cup. I guess you don't need a cup. It's not a contact sport,
but just some underwear to like keep everything strapped in, because surely.
Well, people were tweeting. There was this trans woman athlete who tweeted and was like, "This is why you shouldn't ban trans women from sports. We would have taught that guy how to tuck. Like we would have taken care of it for him in the locker room." So, and maybe he'd be a gold medalist. I don't know. I pole vaulted in high school until I broke my
You
finger,
did?
by the way.
Oh my God. I feel like that's a really impressive sport.
I wasn't good at it.
Were you scared? I feel like it's a scary thing to do.
I don't think so.
Oh.
Yeah.
I gotta try it.
It was fine. Okay, next headline. Speaking to black journalists, Trump reminded everyone how racist he can be.
For fuck's, I mean, obviously bad boy. I don't know how many headlines I can hear about this fucking dude.
He's fucking it for himself.
Jesus Christ. In a room full of black people? Mm-hmm. I mean, the black job thing.
Like specifically, like that, not even coincidentally a room full of black people, like very intentionally
Right.
a room full of black
But
people.
it also made me think, okay, obviously bad boy, he's horrific. But and that the fact that he's doing this in a room full of black people tells me that he doesn't know a lot of these things are like super, super racist and problematic, you know, which I'm not saying, I'm not making excuses for him by any means, but I did have a realization, like a click where I was like, oh, he's so ignorant that he genuinely he is not educated around what is acceptable to say and what, you know, and his natural biases, he has no idea about them. The way that he's speaking so freely about these things without any pause, you know, for thought, I was like, oh, he has no fucking idea, you know, which
and
is
no one's
scary.
fucking telling him.
And no one is telling him.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
like he should fucking know better.
Of course. He should absolutely know better. But I guess I would see him at these like horrific rallies saying a bunch of racist shit, and I'd be like, well, you're an evil human. You're like rallying people around this prejudice and racism, you know, which is so incredibly damaging for so many communities. And I'd be like, you disgust me. And then I watched that and he still disgusts me, but I was like, oh, he's an idiot. Like he's
so
like,
dumb.
I'm giving him too much, what's it called?
Oh, like benefit of the or
No, I'm giving him too much like credit.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that his intelligence level is super high and he's being really damaging when actually he's super ignorant and he has no real idea what he's saying.
When you're given a free pass so many times, the rules kind of don't apply to you anymore. Like he was saying racist shit the first time around, but he still got black votes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so maybe he's like, oh, this isn't as big of a deal. But the shit that he was saying about Kamala and not understanding that you can have two different ethnicities and the difference between ethnicities and race, and just so dumb. And then calling the black woman who was interviewing him aggressive and unprofessional and late and all this stuff. I'm just like, also my favorite part of it when she was like, hey, what can you explain to me what black jobs are to you? And he was like, many of you have them. So stupid. He's like, well, black journalists and also, you know what he says? He was talking about immigrants, and he was like trying to get black. That's the whole thing with black jobs, is like immigrants are taking black jobs, and it's like, okay, what are black jobs? And he was like, oh, well, like, you know, immigrants, 15, 16, 17 million of them came into the US last year. Meanwhile, the US had an addition of 1.3, I think, or 1.6 million people in the last year, and 2/3 of them were births. Like that was the new additions
Like
to America's population. Yeah. And he's like 15 million immigrants.
He's always doing stuff like this though.
Yeah, he's so dumb.
I always go to say, oh, in the US this happens, but it probably just happens everywhere. But the lies that are told by politicians,
Oh,
and
the fact checking. Yeah.
I just believe it would just change so much, because I also have faith in generally people of any sort of background. I have faith that if we're given the true information, you know, I believe that people are inherently kind, and I think it's circumstance and propaganda and, you know, these natural prejudices that we have and lack of diversity in communities and stuff like that create these, you know, people that don't empathize or feel like they're not, you know. But I do believe that in truth people are kind, and if we gave them the correct information and facts, people can make good decisions, you know. But the problem is that people are just being swayed by lies over and over again, you know?
The ratings would go down.
Yeah.
Like Fox News is not going to live fact check because they want to listen to people throwing tantrums and stuff and going on rants about things that are incorrect. If things were fact checked and then it's kind of like, okay, period, end of sentence, it's fact checked, nobody would be watching anymore. And that's sad to say, but that's the truth of it.
Did you see this guy on Fox News? This is a politics podcast and I don't know anything about nothing. But this guy on Fox News that's like ranting about if you're a man and you vote for a woman, you turn into a woman, and it's scientifically proven. Did you see this?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh my God. He says it with a straight face. He said, it's scientifically proven that if you're a man and you vote for a woman, you will become a woman. I was like, what?
We've never had a woman.
I was like, what are you talking about? But to be fair, I think a few women, I'm sure someone's watched this, correct us. A few women that were there in the studio were like, oh yeah, that's scientifically factual, is it?
Yeah.
But anyway, crazy.
Damn.
Amani Khalif defeated Olympic opponent who spread hateful posts about her. Listen, Amani.
I understand the irony of that it's Good Boys, and I want to make sure
I know.
this is neutral, and it's for the title of the podcast. That is a good woman.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
She's amazing. I posted about her. She's so strong, and I cannot believe all the terrible, terrible things that are being said about her. Congratulations on your win, Amani.
I hope she gets millions and millions and millions of dollars from these
Me too.
lawsuits. Every single one of them.
It's been unbelievable.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be honest. Sometimes, do you ever feel like this where you just can't dig into stuff deeper? I'm just like, it's just too, like,
yeah.
I feel like I have a responsibility to understand these things, but then sometimes I'm like, this is all too much.
Yeah.
And when I saw this headline, I was like, I didn't want to dig into what her opponent was saying about her. So I don't know how bad it was or what it was.
It was pretty. They did just an entire transvestigation. It was a fucking witch hunt. Like
the specific opponent or everybody?
Well, the specific opponent that she ended up beating, yes, was posting stuff like literally just calling her trans. But then like all of the every politician, J.K. Rowling, like I'm like I hope they all get fucking sued. But I'm ashamed of the whatever, I don't even know her name, and I don't give a fuck what her name is. The Italian one that quit, by the way, she quit because she couldn't handle it. She made it seem like she got knocked out, like cold in the ring. After 46 seconds, she tapped out. She quit. When I watched the clips, she gets hit, but it's not like she gets knocked down and like X's over her eyes. Like, come on. And as an Italian, I feel fucking shameful, even though I know what culture is like in Italy, but she's like trying to eat her words now, and she's, she regrets saying that. She said it was because her Olympics went up in smoke, and she just lashed out, and she regrets all of it. And I'm like, well, you really fucked it on this one.
Yeah, 100%.
So I hope she feels really bad. I hope there's some kind of legal or financial repercussions. But no, it set off this thing, and you're right that it's hard to get into that, especially as trans people, because it's so layered where cis people want to stand up for her, and there is this whole thing of like, you get so transphobic at some point it's going to start leaking to cis women, which is true, and we know that to be true. But then like when people's reaction is just like, this is a biological woman, and like she's blah, 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 and I'm like, it would be fine if she was a trans woman, like totally. So there's all this focus on proving that she's a biological woman, so she belongs there, and I'm like, we have to be careful when we say that, because it would be literally fine if she was a trans woman and she beat this Italian boxer. That would all be cool too.
You're right, it is so layered, and there's like the feminist side of it, like the traditional feminist side of like, oh, when a woman's too good at anything, she's a fucking man, is she? Like, what are you talking about? And then the co-opting transness into all of this stuff. I was saying to my partner, I feel like I've never said her name on this podcast, and you always say Brit. My partner's called Em. I was saying to her, we're just getting trans people getting dragged into all of these conversations. Yeah. When I don't believe that we should be getting dragged in. Mm-hmm. Technically, by the way, statistically, we're like 2 to 5% of the population globally. Mm-hmm. That's what the numbers are. And when you think about that,
how small it is when every person I know is trans.
But if you think about generally how small that is, and how much of the media, the idea of transness is getting just infiltrated with everything, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Yeah. And then of course we have to stand up for all of our trans community, because it's such a minority, and we're just getting battered on every level. Yeah. I was so proud of my mom. I was like speaking to her on the phone. I was talking to her about Amani, and she, I love Liverpool. It's been in the news a bit this week for some bad reasons, but I do love Liverpool, where I'm from, but we're not as forward thinking, I would say, as a lot of other big cities. So a lot of her, especially of her age, her friends, she got called woke as a insult. Oh, okay. By one of her friends, and I was so proud of her, because she was telling me, they called her woke, and she said, well, what is the definition of woke? It's to be awake. And so thank you for the compliment. And I was like, yes, mom.
Wow.
I was
I
like,
love
that's
that.
amazing. So at least our Cheryl's fighting away there.
Cheryl?
Our Cheryl, yeah.
I love that. With a C or an S.
Let's see.
Cute.
Yeah.
Cheryl. Good job.
Good job,
Snaps
Cheryl.
for Cheryl.
Shout out.
But yeah, I mean, just congratulations to her. Well fucking done. I hope you made your country proud. You made us proud.
And I hope you're okay.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Next headline, and this is from Autostraddle. Billie Eilish doesn't have to guess the color of Charlie XCX's underwear.
Yay. I'm going to say good boy real quick.
Okay, say good boy as well. And this is just this article was written in reaction to the music video and the Billie featuring on Guess by Charlie XCX, talking about how hot it was and how good her verse is.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Did you say that there was some controversy post
Yeah.
this?
So first of all, I want to say my opinion. Is it like the most groundbreaking musical lyrical verse? No, but it's fun and it's hot and it's a gay woman talking about pulling panties to the side and getting all up in it. This is a win for lesbian representation in media, in music, whatever. I think that's amazing. Do I like, should she be dressing the way that she is? No. Have you been seeing these? She's just like dressing like white boys who tried to dress like black boys did in the early 2000s. She looks like Malibu's Most Wanted. Do you get that reference? Yeah, like that's what she looks like.
But why is this in it? Why are we saying that
Because,
she's co-opting black culture? Like, what is the...
That's part of it.
Okay.
And, you know, I am saying this as a white person, so I'm just regurgitating what I'm seeing black people saying about it, which is like, as soon as, especially because you can assume this is her, she's come out. I mean, she's always really dressed like this, but ever since coming out, she's really leaned into it.
Yeah.
And I think the main talking point is like, when white gay women lean into their masculinity, it's black masculinity. And so yeah, it is co-opting a culture to express yourself. It's just this weird, it's just like when she did the chicken shop date and she's like wearing a fitted cap like to the side with a bandana underneath it. I mean, she looks good, but she's getting half of it is probably serious, half of it is probably just dragging her because it looks silly. The grills, I'm just like, you know, all of it in combination is taken from black culture.
Totally. Wonder where the boundary of this or the line of this is, because in my opinion every viral fashion moment we have or cultural every cultural moment that we have derives from black culture a lot of the time, and or queer culture, right?
Yeah.
Probably black queer culture. And so everything that I see that is commercialized at this point, you know, walking down Green Street here or Worcester Street and all these, you know, Louis Vuitton, and well, that's different because we're allowed now. But you know, all of these very high end shops, you see it slowly drip from you know, black queer folks into these high end streets. And so for me, it feels like maybe something that's just always occurred, and it's not surprising to me. Yeah, you know. And so what I don't love is that we don't treat everybody in the same way. So one, is that okay or not? Let's like make a decision on that, because people do that across the board. And if it isn't okay, let's make that clear. And if it is okay for some people and not others, it's like, it's always gay people, isn't it? Like gay women that are getting like trashed for it. So well, the other half of it, which is interesting to flip it, is that in that same conversation, they're like, well, when white gay men lean into their femininity, it's black women. Yeah. So it's just this kind of like, it's this swapping of like, if I'm going to lean into this like side of me that feels like the marginal size, or you're clinging on to like a culture that isn't yours. So I guess it's nice that there's that available in this like kinship, I guess. But I guess the question is, when is it co-opting and when is it appreciation? Totally. I guess. And totally. I'm happy for someone of any race to take inspiration from something in my culture, as long as it is respected, you know, it's acknowledged, and that these it gets me back to this point where I'm like, are black creators financially benefiting from this or not? And the answer to that is often no, and that makes me feel really sad. And then I'm like, no, that's co-option, because the person that created this dance or this piece of music or this, you know, fashion item isn't being credited for this thing.
Yeah. Anyway, but the controversy in the queer community, and it's mostly gay men, are calling Billie Eilish predatory for that verse, and for like there's a line in it that's Charlie likes boys but she knows I'd hit it. I'm like, or how fucking dumb are you to think that that verse was not cleared with Charlie before they
Yeah.
are you she probably wrote like
Right.
she very well could have wrote it herself and given it to Billy. They could have written it together. They were obviously recorded it together, recorded a whole music video. You think at no point Charlie would have been like, hey, I'm uncomfortable with
Right.
this. Also, Charlie is 10 years older than her. And people are also like, there's this mix of people are like, Billie Eilish is too young for you guys to be thirsting over her. She's 22. And then the other flip of it is she's a predator. And I'm like, a gay woman talking about eating pussy is not inherently predatorial.
No.
It's this whole thing of like lesbian's a dirty word. And God forbid a woman has sexual desires, let alone a sexual desires for another woman.
Totally.
Get the fuck over it, white gay men.
Yeah, I'm not okay with this at all. And also, imagine how many songs talk about
Yes.
the sexualization of women, and we don't say anything about it.
Yeah. How fun is it that they're collabing on
Right.
that sexualization, if
Right.
that makes sense, instead of just like a guy not collabing with a female artist and just rapping about it's so frustrating anytime someone. Also, we all forced Billie out of the closet.
Yeah, we
Because the
did.
other criticism is like, oh, she's been out for 4 months and she's already, rapping about eating pussy or whatever. And I'm like, we forced her out of the closet. We forced her to label herself because we
Totally.
kept calling her, we accused her of queer baiting. So she had to come out and be like, I'm not queer baiting, I am queer.
Yeah,
It's just, it's impossible.
it is. It is impossible.
And she's 22. I'm sorry, she's an adult. Should like a 35-year-old person date her? Maybe, probably not. But like, she is an adult and she's allowed to be sexual.
No, 100%.
It's so weird
100%.
to me.
It's so weird. But I feel like I don't want to say we can't win, but we often can't win.
We can't win. Lesbians cannot win.
Lesbians can't.
Truly. And also, like, yeah, I don't know.
Also, I think, and by the way, I don't want to throw him under the bus because I actually like Central C, but like, the Central C song where, what? What's
Do you
wrong?
not know he's in so much trouble right now?
No. Okay, maybe we have to cut this. What did he do?
No, I can just explain it to
Yeah,
you. It's
tell
okay.
me. But before you do, I was just thinking of his song of
How can I be homophobic? My bitch is gay.
Sure, this, which fine, he has a bisexual girlfriend or did or whatever, but more the fact that he talks about Doja Cat in it.
Oh, yeah.
And that he'd want to have sex with her essentially. And we all just, I say we, the royal we all were just like, great, that's hot. She, and to your point, he wasn't collabing with her on it. He just said that and we all were singing it and running around and saying whatever and not being like, hey, is that predatory or is
Yeah.
that like sexualizing
Is
her?
she cool with that?
Is she cool with that? Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. That's a great point.
Anyway, what did he do?
So there's a TikTok creator that I really like. Her name's Mads. She's bisexual.
Great.
This is who
Love
that
it.
line is about. The how can I be homophobic? My bitch is gay.
it's about her?
Mads. They've been dating for 3 years.
Okay. Oh God.
It was her birthday at the beginning of July, and he has this new song coming out with Ice Spice, and they needed to go, I forget which country they were going to. They were going to a country to like promote it and do all of this promotion for it.
Okay.
And she was going with him even though it was like her birthday, whatever. I'm going to get some of these details wrong, but long story short, paparazzi photos come out of him and Ice Spice shopping at this like very expensive store. It's called Something Hearts.
Okay.
And purchasing stuff for, which is also like, okay, like promo, they have a collab coming out, like
Right.
whatever. She was not informed of any of this. So she's literally like getting on, like right before she gets on a plane to go to another country with him, she is finding out about these paparazzi photos. And it's
Okay.
like, okay. And then he said something to her like, hey, heads up, the next few days, please don't be mad at me. Footage comes out of like him at the club with her, with Ice Spice, like all of this shit. Basically him and his team.
It's PR.
Yeah, him and his team basically came up with this PR stunt because the song is also he comes up to Mads in bed and was like, oh, here's my verse on the Ice Spice song. And it's like, I love to cheat. I'm a chronic cheater. I'm cheating on my girl right now. It's like this is the verse because the whole song is like
Right.
Ice Spice and him being like, yeah, we cheat. We're both bad, like whatever, which is like, again, if it's PR or whatever, but he left her in the dark for all of this. So she was not included in the fact that there was going to be all of these paparazzi photos and footage of him cheating on her birthday.
Oh my God.
And so she's obviously broken up with him. And she's made
Okay,
videos
she broke up
about
with
it.
him?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if they like actually cheated or what, but like that is so mean to do to your. Also, like he's fucked around on her in the past and she's forgiven him. So like
Right, yeah,
that's also
okay.
why, because he's embarrassed her previously. Poor fucking girl.
That's awful.
And this was happening at the same time as the other thing I told you about. with like Clinton Kane about lying about like his mom dying and stuff.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So this was all happening at the same time. So I'm like keeping up with my
Damn.
TikTok
You gotta
relationships.
send me these things.
But Central C's in
live.
trouble for that now. And also, unfortunately, I don't know how this goes in feminism and all, but like people are hating on Ice Spice for it too. They're like, how could you do that, girl? And I'm like, she probably was just told show up at this date, at this time, at this store.
Yeah. And also, I hate when people do that because it's not that you should be a homewrecker, but like people need to handle their own relationships and like communicate. Yeah. It's his girlfriend. What's it got to do with that?
And they were like posting TikToks of them like, you know,
being all sexy.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And she's just like watching it in real time on her birthday.
Oh gosh, we got so distracted. Okay. Next headline. White dudes for Harris is the latest in a series of Zoom gatherings backing the vice president. I mean, good boys, no?
Good boys.
Good boys, right?
I think it's cool.
I saw a lot of beef about it. People seemed unhappy about it.
It's nuanced because I've said this probably 8 times on this very short podcast already. I don't like any politicians.
Mm-hmm.
I even on a previous episode, on like the first or second episode, when we made fun of Kamala and you were like, are we dunking on her now? And I was like, oh well, she's a cop. I take that back.
Okay.
White people shouldn't be calling her a cop. If black people want to call her a cop, I think that's fine.
Why?
I shouldn't, because I think that it's fucked. From what I'm seeing on the internet of like people, you know, calling people in and stuff, it's like she call her a politician, call her a prosecutor, dunk on her for the wrongful imprisonment of people for marijuana charges, like all of that. But like to call a black woman a cop when she is not a cop is fucked up. Okay. And also like takes away her credentials and like blah 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 blah. I don't know, whatever. Which I agree with, so I take it back. But
I forgive you.
Thank you. But her record as a prosecutor is incredibly nuanced. She's done some like really incredible things with like gay marriage and like prison reform, and then she's also done really fucked up things like locking away people of color and the marijuana charges and all of that. It's very nuanced, which is like it's not black and white, like good and bad. It's like, oh, she's done stuff here, stuff there, whatever. And so
you mean like every human?
Like every human. And I do think at this point, like when Biden first dropped out, I was like, Trump has it. I you know, my family chat, they're like, what do we think? And I was like, I think Trump has it after the assassination attempt.
Right.
My opinion has changed a little bit more. I think she has it. So with all of that being said, I do think that at this point, if those two are the options, it's Harris. It has to be.
Right.
And so I think these guys coming together, is it a little like, it's kind of reminds me of like during COVID when all the celebrities did like, imagine all the
God.
and like took their turn. Like it's very much like, okay, white millionaire celebrities, but seeing like Sean Astin and Jeff Bridges and like these like guys and the stuff that they were saying, I watched some of the clips, like they were like, I don't know, getting like a little vulnerable and like talking about how important it is for them to step up and the responsibility that they have to back a president who's not going to enforce Project 2025, basically. So I would say good boys, understanding that a lot of these people are like rich and famous people. So how good could they be? But
yeah,
it was fun. It was, I think it's cool.
I think it's cool. I also have like a more simplistic view on these things where I'm like, listen, obviously she's not perfect, but she's probably done the best possible stuff, especially given she's a woman of color. Yeah. Rising up in those ranks, I can't even imagine what she's had to go through and deal with. And probably, or let's say maybe, made some decisions that she's not 100% comfortable with to do what she needs to do. And I can't judge her too much for that. And we should hold politicians accountable. Yeah. And she's definitely better than Trump. Yeah. That feels fucking obvious. And so if folks with a lot of influence are going to come through and donate to her and, you know, be really, really vocal about why people should vote for her, I'm like, please, that's amazing. Do it. And I feel good about it, you know? Yeah, I feel good about it too. I saw on the train ride in this morning, it's so annoying. You're literally like whiplashed because I'm like, her like stance on the Gaza stuff, like she's called for a ceasefire, but she's also like said some really stupid shit. Sorry, her office has said some, I'm sure it's people writing these statements, but there's this call for donations that she put out and she's in this video and she's like, now's the time to donate. She is wearing a $62,000 necklace in that video. And I'm just like, who is on set?
who on her team, like, take
Who
that off
decided
of
that?
her,
Oh my
because you know
gosh.
people are gonna identify what
Yeah.
brand it is and they're gonna find it in 2 seconds. It's a $62,000 gold chain.
That was probably leased. That was probably rented for the video. I mean,
Sure,
it has to be said.
but don't
Totally,
wear a
it's
t-shirt,
stupid.
girl.
Yeah.
Like, if you're asking for money, like, that's like my
Yeah.
friends, when my friends are posting on Instagram asking for money, and then they're like in Tulum, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Everyone deserves a vacation, but I thought that I was donating to something else.
Yeah.
You know, like, fuck.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and the thing is, that's not her fault, is it? It's her team. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
It's
I would have
tough.
been like, throw me in a campaign tee.
Oh, 100%.
I'll hold one of my mugs that have you seen the
With a chip on
bisexual? Yeah, with the chip in it. Have you seen the bisexual, the like official campaign website is selling like,
A bisexual mug?
yeah,
No, it's not.
yeah.
What does it say on it?
It's like her in 3 different suits creating the bisexual flag. So it's like pink, light purple, and blue.
Oh my gosh,
And it's like the bisexual flag.
that is so good. I want to know if anyone can tell us who works on the campaign how many have been sold.
Oh yeah,
That'd be amazing.
that was Kamala Corner.
Come on, Connor.
We'll be having for the next 4
And
years.
she's fun, you know. She
She
is
is fun.
Like, you know.
Yeah.
I saw a video. Also, for some reason, I'm in this weird Republican algorithm, and I can't understand why. Like, I sent you that thing about like the
Oh,
TERF
yeah.
lesbians.
That
saying
came
some
up on your
stuff.
feed
That
organically?
Came up, yeah.
Oh.
Why though?
I don't know.
I've never clicked on any of these. Anyway, so then I clicked on that, and then I
You
sent it to
shared
you,
it,
and I shouldn't
yeah.
have done that. And so now it keeps showing me all these things.
Yeah.
So that's depressing, because seeing the other side of the coin it hasn't been very nice.
Yeah.
You know. Tea time.
Okay, we're going to do tea time, which is when Kylo and I talk about testosterone and how we get it into our bodies and what it's doing to our bodies. Today's the 5th. That is 4 months for me, which feels cuckoo bananas. What are some updates? My belly is full of hair, which I love, and it goes right down
Love
into
that.
the thigh and the groin.
Sexy.
I don't know where my pubes end and my thigh hair starts,
I think
which
that's
is
the
kind of
goal.
ideal. Yeah. My voice is getting deeper. I wonder, we'll be able to like hear it through the progression of the podcast, which is fun, but my voice is getting deeper to the point where my mom is like, are you sick? What else? I'm watching gay porn.
Oh yeah, we kind of touched
Yeah.
on it at the beginning.
I'm shaving my whole face. I almost said my whole head. My whole face now, because I was letting the mustache go. I said the last episode I got one comment on TikTok telling me to shave it, and I did. But it's like not coming in entirely yet. I still haven't figured out my like skincare exfoliation thing. If anybody has any recommendations for exfoliants for after shaving your face that will prevent pimples, that would be fantastic. I like there's not like anything else huge going on tea wise. I'm trying to think of it if anything's changing. No.
I'm trying to think what's going on. My legs are really, I know it doesn't look like it. Also, I'm not very hairy, and I'm having to compare myself to Motti, who is now growing hair everywhere. I'm not very hairy, but my legs are starting to grow hair. It's so funny though, because I think it's not that much hair, but I look at it and I'm like, it feels not like my leg. You know, so I'm in this like weird, I guess because it's a much slower process, and so I'm not realizing. But I was lying in bed last night and I was like, damn, like there's hair all the way down my legs. And I guess as a woman I used to shave like constantly. I even got a little bit of hair laser hair removal when I was a woman.
Oh wow.
On my underarms and on my junk.
Yeah.
And so it took
Does
a
that
really
hurt?
long, it really hurt.
Yeah.
It did really hurt. My sisters were just getting it and I was young and I was like, sure, that sounds like a really fun idea. Luckily though, it's not permanent, or I guess it is permanent if you do it enough, but I hadn't done it enough. And so I'm now, it's taken so long to grow back, and now everything's growing back, but then I don't even recognize my own body. It's taken like a weird, I am affirmed by it, but it's I have this natural like shock or something looking at my own body getting hairy. Have you found that, or are you just loving it?
I'm loving it. I've always been really hairy. I'm Italian, and like I don't like, I used to get bullied so much for having arm hair and hair on my finger knuckles and my hands. I used to shave it and get it waxed in high school, which is just so sad.
Kids are mean.
Kids are so mean, and so like I'm just used to it, so it's not very jarring to me. The stomach is a little jarring just because like I used to make sure I shaved that happy trail because I was like, oh, I don't want that or whatever. It was also like blonde, and now it's dark, so it's not very jarring. Is this the most hair you've ever had on your legs?
Yeah.
Do you feel when you're wearing shorts outside, do you feel the wind
Yeah.
Because when I started growing out my leg hair, that was the first thing I noticed. I'm like, that's a crazy feeling.
It's crazy. I kept thinking there was bugs on my legs, or like
Yeah.
there was a spider or something, but it was just my own hair.
Oh, and were you freaking out?
I was
Because I know you
freaking
don't
out.
like that.
I hate bugs, so
Yeah.
I kept like slapping my own leg.
Yeah.
But now I'm getting used to that. But it's just the view
Is
of it.
Is it just genetically that you're not very hairy?
Yeah, I guess my dad's not very hairy either.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think so. But no, I'm good, happy.
Yeah.
We have to do. We keep saying we're going to do it, but we have to talk about fertility a bit because that's what's really slowing down my transition.
Yeah. I feel like that should be a whole
That should be a whole thing.
thing.
Yeah.
But do you want to just say really quickly why you haven't upped?
Yeah, so I haven't upped my testosterone because I'm getting my eggs frozen, or rather embryos frozen, which is essentially just when they remove your egg, fertilize it with some sperm, and then freeze them. So you have babies ready to go. Once you take too much testosterone, I guess the eggs become infertile over time. I'm probably butchering all this. And you... I don't know at what point you can't like carry a baby, or at what point the eggs become infertile, but at some point. And so the doctors are being very cautious with how much testosterone I take until I get these eggs taken out.
Do you have your sperm already?
You know, I gotta tell the story. So we're looking for sperm. Heads up for anybody that looks remotely like me and is a cis man. So we're looking for sperm, and you can go to the sperm bank. You know, that is an option, but there's not a lot of mixed race sperm. There's not a lot of black sperm in general, but there's certainly not a lot of mixed race sperm. And
I'm assuming just because of like racism and
I believe
eugenics.
so. I believe so. Yeah. And you know, I don't know the reason for it, but we've just been struggling to find. And it's obviously very important for me to have black sperm. So anyway, so instead, I've been sort of just like going on this rampage of just like, let me try and find a guy. I don't have a brother either. I don't have a full blood brother anyway. So anyway, I come across this guy on TikTok, and he looks exactly like me. He's like mixed race, green eyes, my height. He's British, Caribbean, not Jamaican, but he's like mixed.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. And he's like young, he's a triathlete. He's like, he has all these great qualities. So I'm like, this would be great sperm, right? So I message him.
I love it.
I DM him.
Is he like a TikToker? Like he has
a little
fans,
bit. Like
or...
I think he's like doing his best, but like he's not.
Okay.
Like he's not like super viral or
Okay.
anything. I guess my phone was listening to me looking for sperm, and it just like fed me him. So so I DM him. And I'm like, hey, this is like going to be the weirdest message that you ever receive. But, you know, I'm a trans guy and I'm looking for sperm, and it's really hard to find mixed race sperm, and we look really similar. And obviously this is a huge ask. So, but if you have any, you know, if you want to talk about it maybe, or you think you consider it, let me know. And this guy messages me back, and he says, hey, for the first thing he says is, hey, that must have been really difficult to send.
Wow.
Isn't that so cute?
Yeah.
Like one tear just fell down my face, and I was like, he's sweet and kind. He's the perfect sperm. So he's like that.
He's the perfect sperm.
And he's like, that must have been really difficult for you to send. And he's like, you know, I've never thought about this before. Obviously, I mean, why would you? I suppose. He's like, I'd never thought about this before. And I'd need a bit more information. You know.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So I messaged him back and said, yeah, no worries. Like, do you want to jump on a call? This was like too much too soon. So then he messaged me back and said, oh, like, can you just text me? Can you just like message me the process? So I was like, fair enough. So I wanted to be really considered about it. So we went to the doctors. I wanted to figure out what he would have to do, right? Because there's lots of nuances in this. He's in the UK. We'd have to fly him to New York. Like, there's all this stuff. So I get all the information, and I go to message him back. And as I go to his profile, I look on my birthday. Right, it just happens to be my birthday when I'm like, I should send this message, right? And I go to his profile. This is not
Please
a joke.
tell me you're blocked.
I'm not blocked. It's his birthday on the same day as my fucking birthday.
No way.
I swear to God. Can you believe
Did
that?
you say something to him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, is it your birthday? You know, I was like, is it your birthday today? I couldn't believe it. And then I was like, anyway, here's all the information to send to him. So I know. So like, keeps saying like, don't get too excited and like put all your eggs in one basket, no pun intended. But you know, in my mind,
Don't put
I'm
all
like,
your eggs in one sperm.
don't put all your eggs in one sperm.
Yeah.
What is I don't know the statistical likelihood of finding someone that like looks like me, is like healthy, same ethnicity, same race, same birthday.
Yeah.
What is the
That's
likelihood of
so
that?
crazy.
Isn't it?
You kind of like, you started this out with you were a good boy because you shot your shot. You were talked about the wrong shot. This is a huge shot to take.
I know. So I don't know if he'll be the guy or if it'll work.
I
but-
mean, even if he's not, that's like the band-aid that you've ripped off of like asking this kind of uncomfortable but important question and
totally.
and like
And to be honest, I just assumed, I mean, and I'm not a cis guy, so maybe cis guys can weigh in on this. I just assumed it would be the answer would be no 9 times out of 10.
yeah.
But maybe it's not as
If it's
crazy.
the right price.
Yeah.
Listen, if I had cum, if I had sperm,
You do have come.
if I had sperm,
You do
I'd
it.
be giving it away for the right price for sure.
What about donation?
Yeah. Oh, like for free?
Yeah.
Does anybody do it for free?
Yeah, I think so.
Sperm donation, even though it's called donation, you do get paid for it though.
Sure, but like I think, imagine how many lesbians there are. I mean, look at the guy with 1,000 kids. There are people
Yeah,
giving away
that's
sperm
true.
for free, I think.
Yeah.
But sure, there needs to be some sort of incentive, especially if you don't know the person,
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, if someone was like, we're having a really hard, like if it just would make someone's life for sure. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm just like, I got a lot of that stuff. Yeah.
Well, anyway, I don't know how we got into that, but
Oh, that's
it's
really
tea
cool.
time. Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
sperm time as well.
Yeah.
I'll keep everybody updated and pray and hope that he's not listening to this podcast. Although you are my number one pick if you are listening.
Yeah. Oh my God. Could
These
we
are
have him
the-
on, do you think? I would love to talk to the two of you. What's his, well,
I don't want to
Tell
say
me
his
later.
name. I don't
Yeah,
want to say
yeah,
his
yeah.
name. I'm worried now people like find him. I don't think so.
yeah.
Um,
Everyone starts asking him for sperm.
I know. Don't ask him. He's mine.
Yeah.
He's my sperm guy.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
for that, Kylo, good boy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Are you going to say it back to me?
For what? Oh, we
Thought were,
finishing
like,
the
silent.
podcast?
No, we don't have to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's finish.
Okay. Is there
I
more
was
you
like,
want
we
to
should
say?
finish it properly. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
We did all the sections.
Oh, great. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Sorry. Repeat.
Well, Kylo, good boy.
Thanks, Motti. Good boy, Motti.
Thank you.
Thanks.